Hello, welcome to health class. My name is Bob Fichter, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching this video about the open house meeting. A little bit about my background. I'm a teacher and athletic trainer for 20 years, 14 years at LT. Besides teaching health class, I also teach a sports medicine class at the North Campus. So if your son or daughter is interested in the medical fields, that might be something to look into. I'm the sports medicine club sponsor for our student athletic training program. And unfortunately, right now, that's not meeting for obvious safety concerns and IHSA regulations. But if they're interested in joining the club, we do have a short video on the school's website, and I can put them a list and send them some information regarding updates about our club. I'm also a certified strength and conditioning specialist. Besides teaching health and being an athletic trainer, I love the science of athletic development and performance enhancement. And my hobbies including guitar, biking, and you see my family there, the right side. That's my son Barrett. He's 6. He's starting first grade at Pleasantdale. And Charlotte is 4, and she's starting preschool at Pleasantdale. This is the wellness wheel. These segments are going to be throughout the whole semester in the different units. I like to point out this one right here, intellectual health. I love talking about that frequently. That's valuing curiosity and knowledge, becoming a self-directed learner, finding time on their own to keep updated with current events, especially in the health field. I like when students bring topics to class, especially when we're remote learning right now. I think it's fun and refreshing to have students bring topics to class to discuss. These are our 6 units that we cover. I'm just going to briefly go through each of these and highlight some of the cool things we do and interesting topics within each. The wellness unit we are currently in right now. We cover the different dimensions of health that you just saw in the previous slide of wellness. We cover risk-taking behaviors. Okay, there's one assignment that they'll be assigned next week. It's called a family tree, and that's to sit down and talk to you about family illness, disease. Okay, they're not turning this into me. I understand there's confidentiality with this. They're not going to talk about this openly, but it's really to get them to engage in learning and to think about the risk factors in the leading cause of death as we discuss this in class. So again, they're not going to discuss that with other people. That's strictly for them to relate to what we're covering. The nutrition unit, we look at their, they analyze their typical day in their diet, and then they create an ideal day by adding or subtracting things that they're getting or too much of or not getting enough of. I'm not a registered dietitian, but I follow basic guidelines, health guidelines, no clinical guidelines. But that's one unit where they're not, I don't want them to become calorie counters and get them obsessed with food. I think that creates other issues, but I think it's important to know what a basic plan looks like. And some students are already eating very well, and they'll figure that out as they analyze, but we'll have analysis in that unit. Okay, we also cover eating disorders, obviously this sensitive topic for some, and you received an email earlier this week with the topics and some of the, might be some of the sensitive material that your son or daughter will be exposed to. And if they are sensitive, please let me know. We want them to be uncomfortable sitting in a lecture or discussion. The mental health unit, we cover positive mental health, what it's like to have pride, dignity, integrity, respect. We also cover some of the opposite. We cover mental disorders. We cover coping with loss, death and dying. We cover suicide as a second leading cause of death in their age group. But I think it's important to shed light on this and talk about this openly, and especially on this platform of health. Substance abuse, that's a unit that they'll be doing a lot of research on their own with group work. They're going to be assigned a drug category, and they're going to put together a newsletter about that drug category. I don't want them to memorize every physiological and psychological effect of drugs, but if we categorize these, it becomes a lot easier. Okay, and then they'll share that to the group. Human development, we cover relationships, positive and destructive relationship traits. We cover male-female reproductive anatomy, childbirth, sexually transmitted diseases. So that's an all-encompassing unit. That's the last unit from their book. The CPR unit, even if we're in hybrid mode, we're not going to be really able to certify the students in CPR this semester. However, we still want to give them all the information from the American Heart Association, myself and the other health teachers as American Heart Association instructors. We still want to give that information to them. I think it's very important. Remote learning accommodations, obviously student engagement, that's a critical piece nowadays. Things are much different than they were this time last year. So engagement with Zoom breakout rooms, discussion boards. You'll learn about the grading, the discussion board in a little bit. But even with the Zoom meetings, or the breakout rooms rather, when they're done with the topic that I've given them, I like when they talk about their weekends. I like when they talk about what's going well with the e-learning at this point. Where are some struggles? I think it's good for students to talk about that openly with their peers. Social emotional connection. Mondays, every Monday they have the 35-minute classes. That's a time for me to lay out the plan for the week, let them know their asynchronous day lesson plans. And I like to take the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes of class, and I call that self-care. And I think health class is the perfect class to talk about that or practice that. That's mindfulness, that's stress reduction techniques. Okay, think in the present moment for 5 or 10 minutes, not think about their assignments or any tests coming up or work that's due that week, but just taking that time as a refresher, refreshing moment to start the week on a strong note. The asynchronous day expectations, they're given the 2 lessons at the beginning of the week on Monday. They do not have to use their asynchronous days to do those if they want to manage their time and get those done early in the week. As long as I have them by Sunday night, that's fine with me. So I received a lot of feedback from that last semester. The students really enjoyed having the freedom to work on their own pace and not having to use that asynchronous day for those assignments. In terms of grading, discussion board will be used each unit. Vocabulary quizzes, online Canvas quizzes, 25%. We do projects, not in every unit, but most units will have some form of project that they're going to work on. Mostly those will be the asynchronous day activities. And instead of us really formal tests and multiple choice tests, we're using application assessments where they'll be given a prompt and they have to write upon, take me through that prompt and relaying the information they learned from the units with what that prompt is. There will be some multiple choice, but it's not going to be a typical test that they may have seen in the past. Okay, it's more of like a writing assessment and a final summative. What do they know? What did they gain throughout that unit? My contact information is right there. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, I want to thank you for taking this time to watch this video. Take care.